Alright, so, yeah, what is this? What is this, Arco? What is this plan you got set up here? What are you doing in a TV Tropes page? Um, yes, welcome back. Welcome to the lovely bunker. Obviously, we finished up with No More Heroes 2. So now, what do we do now? Well, while y'all wait for the playthrough to come in, the next playthrough, we wait for whenever the next playthrough starts. Um, this is obviously where I branch out and I do other things. And, one of those other things is TV tropes and stuff. So, I'm gonna check the thing real quick. Okay, good to know. Yeah, OBS reveal. But yes, welcome to TV tropes. So, this is interesting because in the world of, in the Earth, in the planet, in the world of YouTube, I have never seen anyone go through TV tropes. Never. I have heard people talking about tropes. I've heard that there's a channel dedicated to talking about tropes, but I've never seen anyone mention TV tropes existence. So I thought, why don't I see what TV tropes has? Because I go on this website all the time, and I do really enjoy going on this website to read off things that I didn't think I would read. And yeah, obviously, TV tropes. They have their whole, deal around this. So, what we're gonna do, well, I guess, let's say, so TV Tropes, if you don't know them, is a website surrounded, dedicated to tropes of, well, everything really. Like reality, video games, literature, movies, art, all of that stuff. That is what TV Tropes is dedicated to, and basically, I'm gonna go through TV Tropes, and I'm gonna give this a test because I want to see how this does, because I don't think I've seen anyone on YouTube talk about TV Tropes. So yeah, obviously, now where to start is kind of something that I'm not so sure, basically. But what we're gonna have though is that what we're gonna do, I think, if I can decide to continue this, because this may become a side series of its own, is I'm gonna go ahead into the feature trope and the newest trope. So, I'm gonna go ahead into the feature trope, which is an infection scene. So I have my skepticisms about this because I'm basically reading to everyone what this is. Though, to be fair, I have read to everyone when playing Danganronpa. So, this is kind of not far from our lane. So, let's give it a go. And yeah, these videos I will try to edit and stuff because I think they'd be a little neat to edit and everything. So, let's go! Without a microscope, without a microscope, it's impossible to know whether a person or object is contaminated with germs. Because of this, many stories encourage people to be hygienic and vigilant to avoid getting infected or infecting others. To make this clear, it'll often show the exact moment somebody contracts a disease, cluing in the audience before the person even knows they're infected. It can come back before the character gets sick to serve as foreshadowing, or a flashback can show how an already sick character caught the illness, even showing an earlier scene with more obvious focus on the contaminated things they touch. There may be a montage of these scenes that show this jumping from person to person, setting up a full-blown epidemic. Generally, so yeah, what I'm getting here is that this is a little scene on its own, and well, what I'm getting is that basically when you get down to a trope, it's kind of like you have the main page and stuff. So we're reading off what this explanation is, and what I will do here is that I'll read the rest of this, and then I'll go through all of these that are showcased. So, in case there are moments where the game, because we'll likely go through video games mostly, because it's likely just going to be video games and everything, all of this, or, some games will either not be talked about or they'll be edited out because they are either going to be recorded for the channel and there may be a game that people haven't played through yet, so I don't want to spoil that. So in this case, for now, the series will start off with no Danganronpa V3. Any of Danganronpa V3 it's not gonna be here. It's not gonna happen. Not even Danganronpa V3's page. I might be able to play around with Danganronpa 1 and Danganronpa 2's page if I decide to do that for an episode. But for now, I'll go through and see what's this what I'll go through and see what else is there. So yeah, Danganronpa V3 off the list. Not gonna go over Danganronpa V3. So yeah. Alright, so obviously in these games, if I'm going to spoil you, which in this case I will say spoiler alert. I'll probably just put a caption in here that spoiler alert, the TV Tropes has something, you know. So in Hitman, a gameplay assisting variation happens. The mission in Patient Zero highlights all infected targets as red silhouettes, and when they get infected, by the way, I didn't read the rest of the page up on top, so anyways, or the infected infects someone else. They begin coughing to signify this change. Alright then, alright. In Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur, working as a debt collector, roughs up a debtor who's dying from tuberculosis, in which the debtor coughs blood onto Arthur's face. Ominous music plays over the cutscene as Arthur rides away from the debtor's homestead, foreshadowing his eventual diagnosis of and death from tuberculosis. It's very chilling example in Trauma Team. There's a single event showing a subway where a woman walks out sporting a heavily advanced state of the Rosalia voice before she collapsed dead. The people around her stand in shock as the entire scene is slowly covered in different shades of black, saying that the virus is spreading out, unbeknownst to the people. Alright then, alright. So not much in here, but obviously in these games that y'all play. So, I actually have not played Red Dead Redemption 2. I did get spoiled about it, and I don't know if I'll ever get into the series. I know it's a very beloved series. I mean, both games are said to be really good. So, yeah, I don't have much to say for this page. I think a plan is that if there's a game that I happen to know about or played of, I will talk about that, and, yeah. So we'll go through all of that. You know, how about we do that? We read all the ones that I find that I have actually played and whatnot, and yeah, we'll continue as on with that because there's a ton of tropes out there. So there's a lot of things in here. So let's go to the new one, the newest trope: ailment-induced cruelty. By the way, I can probably play around with this, but there's a thing called random trope and random media, so I can play around those too. Oh, it's okay. I don't know what that is though. And if there's something that I don't know, or it's just like something like about some series I don't know, then we'll skip it out. So, what this is, a person suffering from a long-term terminal illness is under considerable stress both physically and psychologically. And this can adversely affect them in numerous ways beyond what their condition is doing to them. In some cases, their pain and degradation can cause a markedly negative change in their personality. They may become extremely short-tempered or spiteful, venting on whoever is in their earshot. Sometimes to the point that it's intolerable to be around them due to the constant venom. They may also do physical things such as throwing or breaking whatever is nearby, fouling their clothes and or bed, or even trying to physically injure people. This abuse may get to the point that their caretakers decide that they abandon them, locking them away, or even going as far as mercy killers, just straight up killing them. It's the only way to get some peace back in their lives. Alright. Let's see the video games. Silent Hill 2. Yep. Okay, I've done. Yeah. So, Mary Shepherd Sunderland, James' wife, contracted a terminal illness in which left her bedridden and caused her hair loss and damage to her skin. She suffered from constant pain, from frequent mood swings, and suicidal depression, and would lash out in anger at James. He eventually smothered her with a pillow, although he repressed the memory of doing so and has delusions that she's still alive, which led him to Silent Hill. Yes! Silent Hill 2. Oh my god, I remember this game. So, yes, James's wife was killed off, and James had, he had a whole kind of psychological, curse over him, and his wife would appear everywhere. Well, kind of. It was more so like a different looking woman that tried playing as his wife and stuff. And we met people like Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2. So yeah, this was interesting. Yeah. James, basically what he thought to be was that he put her out of her misery, basically, is what he tried doing. In which he did. And yeah. So yeah, that's what kind of caused him to go mad through all those things. And yeah. Yeah, my experience with Silent Hill 2, yeah. It was really, really cool seeing new. If I get things wrong, don't be scared to call me out on that. So yeah, if you ever find this channel, of course. So yes, we're done at that. Okay, so now that we read our two newest things, and our two tropes of ordeal and stuff, we're now gonna go over we're now gonna see what we get from the random tropes. So let's do it. Tongue-tied. Oh boy. A tongue-tied character has some extremely important knowledge and just cannot spit it out. Quite literally. Sometimes the victim has to be kept quiet about what exactly has happened to him, or may have learned a secret that someone doesn't want to share. He'd be threatened or encouraged to lie, but this is unreliable. Some villains attempt elaborate brainwashing or laser-guided amnesia. But these options are all certainly reversible in light of this. The occasional magically inclined villain will place a curse on his victim. It also leaves the victim tongue-tied. Alright. Let's see what we got here. What games have I played? Oh, okay. We can read this one. One of the effects of Dupless, stealing Mario's body in Chapter 4, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, is Mario being unable to use his name. When he attempts to tell it to Vivian when she asks for it, she's unable to understand what he's saying. You have more so than we usually do. It seemed like it was less of being able to understand him, more being able to hear him. Her response seemed to indicate that, for example, Mario tried to say something but nothing came out. Or it did come out, but so quiet that she couldn't hear anything. Alright. Yeah. We all remember Dupless if we played The Thousand-Year Door. He stole Mario's body in the worst chapter in the game. Unfortunately. There was such a good plot, but man, the level was designed badly. But yeah, Dupless still stole Mario's body after you beat him the first time, and so the chapter continued on because you had to buy everyone's interest, and you had to, well, fight Dupless again as Mario. Yeah. Dupless is definitely one of the easiest bosses in the Mario history because if you don't attack his partner, then you don't lose. Like, if they made it to where you had to actually attack everyone on that team, then it'd be a different story, because then you'd actually have to deal with them. But other than that, you can just fight them. And, yeah, end the fight like that. Square Race, Round Class. A character in the otherwise typical fantasy game / story whose profession seems at odds with its nature or appearance as assumed by tradition or the audience, like a dwarven ranger or an ogre engineer. Sometimes this is for sheer game balance and variety, while other times it's lampshaded as being appropriate if seen in the right light. After all, even if hobbits don't make the best warriors, that doesn't mean hobbit warriors don't exist. Somebody's gotta protect the hobbit village. Right? Likewise with the forests, you find above around the dwarves, mountain halls, it makes sense to have a few guys who know their way around them. As a D&D player's guide points out, people become adventurers because they didn't fit their society. I did not play Skyrim. There seems to be a lot to read here. Whoa, what the Pokemon? Pokemon often learn some moves for flavor purposes despite not having the right stats for using them effectively. For instance, Clodsera, a Pokemon fully geared towards being a special attacker, learns this physical attack Crabhammer due to his massive claw, despite it being underwhelming when used by it. No player, even with a minimum of experience, will ever use these useful spells, but Pokemon in the wild will commonly use them, as will the AI trainers in the main game. The post-game content is a different story. For example, Guzma in Sun and Moon has a Swords Dancing Gillosopod. This spot is geared towards hit and run tactics using priority attacks, and will automatically leave the battlefield once its health falls below half, usually wasting the Swords Dance buffs it wasted its turn setting up. Some players will use such striking sets to get other players for the sheer fun of it, or to throw for a loop other players who thought knew exactly how to counter a particular mod, only to have their entire strategy invalidated. In particular, Pokemon YouTuber known as Pimp Knight is famous for playing with pretty much nothing but complete counterintuitive movesets, and often even winning with them. This is the primary gag of Excelgor, a snail that loses its shell over the course of its evolution, as a ninja in the process. In the process, it jumps from having one of the lowest speed stats in the game to having one of the highest. Yeah, I remember Excelgor. Doing research on new monsters arrived in town. It's already beaten off our heroes once. Is it time to get dangerous? No, it's time to hit the books. Our characters head to the magical library to consult the great big book of everything in the tomes of Eldritch lore. They search the ominous database and scan samples of with the everything sensor, possibly with the help of a hardboard montage. Only when all avenues have been exhausted will they summarize their findings and formulate a new plan, which the audience may or may not be privy to. Video game. XCOM. Nope. Okay, well, creator killer. Oh, jeez. Okay, let's look at this. The Sixth Sense, Rotten Tomatoes. Unbreakable, Rotten Tomatoes. Signs, nice. The Village, Lady in the Water, The Happening, The Last Airbender. Oh my God, The Last Airbender. It's M. Night Shyamalan. Let's see the absolute. Oh God. Okay, Activision. Okay. I'll read this. After a steady string of hits with its Project Gotham Racing series, the disappointing sales figures of Blur and their attempt at a James Bond game, Bloodstone 007 or 007, killed Bizarre Creations outright. Just seeing Mario Kart in the former TV's commercial certainly didn't help matters. Nice. The interactive fiction producer Infocom attempted to branch out into new fields of favor. It was a relational debate. A database program Cornerstone. Indeed, the whole original plan was to use this game as a stepping stone to a more profitable business offer. Although Cornerstone received good reviews, it was an expensive flop and helped lead to Infocom being sold to Activision, whose mismanagement quickly finished running the company into the ground. Oh, Atari. Oh, Atari, no. I'm not gonna read all of this, but man, Atari went down after having like some cool ass games, and then fucking E.T. Oh God, Capcom. Never heard of it. Oh, the Dead Rising series. Oh no. Yeah. Oh my God. Capcom Vancouver, formerly Blue Castle Games, which had made every entry in the Dead Rising series since the second game, was killed by a double whammy of two deeply troubled productions. First was Dead Rising 4, which saw multiple shifts in creative direction. During production, it was Christmas rush out the door to mixed reviews and serious backlash from fanbase. The second was the never finished Dead Rising 5, where Capcom noticed that they were making the same mistakes that derailed production of the previous game, and decided to pull the plug and shut down the studio. Man. I love Dead Rising, but man, Dead Rising 4 sucked. It sucked ass. Dead Rising 4 was terrible. The timer was gone, and there was shit. There was like weird ass boss fights that didn't even work properly. Like, really, Dead Rising 1 to 3 is easily the games you want to play, and not Dead Rising 4. The nearest simultaneous combination of social sales for Akami and the complete bomb God Hand. So both become co-classes like Capcom to close Clover Studios shortly after the release. For the closure, Clover founders Atsushi Inaba and Shinji Mikami, along with Hideki Kamiya, resigned from Capcom to help form Platinum Games. Oh, we know what Platinum Games is. Platinum Games made Bayonetta, right? Let's see this. Yeah, Platinum. Yeah, they made Bayonetta. Yep. Oh yeah, they made that shit. But they also made Automata, which is amazing. Automata was great, and they had the 2 other games coming out. But yeah, they also made Madden. I forgot they made Madden. Revengeance, yep. Standing here, I realize, man. Electronic Arts. I wonder what's in them. Oh god, I don't want to read that. Oh, the Alpha Dream things. And then it went away after Pepper Jam and the 3DS remastered Superstar Saga. Gosh, I remember playing the stuff from Alpha Dream. They had made good games and everything, but oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Alpha Dream suffered tragically. Rooster Teeth Games. I didn't know Rooster Teeth made games. All I knew is that they made. Yeah. Okay. Oh my god, Telltale Games. Yeah. So as everyone, okay. Yeah, Telltale Games. We've already. They had The Walking Dead season 1 with Lee and stuff. One of the most beloved, but also one of the most depressing things ever. And Minecraft Story Mode, which appealed to the children in the audience. So yeah. All the things that they made aside from those two, not very big, and yeah, you didn't have much of them. But I remember playing. I remember playing No More Heroes. Wait, not No More Heroes. I remember playing Walking Dead, and I played Minecraft Story Mode. You know, it got on Netflix apparently as an interactive game. Or an interactive mode. But yeah, you had to interact with it. So yeah, but in The Walking Dead, I remember playing that, and I remember getting to, what was it, chapter, or episode, whatever episode it was, the episode before the last episode was like, it was definitely going to be set up for something tragic, and yeah, they knocked it out of the park in Walking Dead to season 1, amazing, it was great. Minecraft Story Mode is actually pretty good, I liked it. I liked both of them. E.T. I don't know why. This thing scared me when I was younger. This E.T. fucking symbol thing. I got scared when I was looking at that. Holy heck. Humans are good? I don't know about that one, Chief. Alright. In a speculative fiction setting in which there are other species running around, human beings are always lawful good paragons of virtue. It is up to them to fight off the horde of alien locusts, defend everyone from the scary dogmatic aliens, and convince the space elves to step off their lofty pedestal and use their special technology to help other races. Chrono Trigger. The evil chancellors were monsters in disguise. Magus, who appears to be summoning a monster to destroy the world, actually just summoning another monster in order to kill it. The Reptites, who aren't even human, aren't so much evil as they are competing to be nature's selection. Same can be said about the Fiends. And a giant space chick, not a flea, is set up to be the big bad less than an hour into the game. The only villains that seem completely bad is Dalton and Queensville. Arcadian Interlude. I don't even know what this fucking is. Well, there's more Chrono Trigger. Oh, Mother 3. Alright. Arcadia depicts a place set apart from the rest of the world where in a golden age of security and tranquility and stability women. Sometimes the characters just get a visit there. This place is often set off from the rest of the narrative structurally as a separate chapter or episode. The film may be shot in a slightly different visual style and literature and may be written with a more relaxed or lyrical tone. The Arcadian Interlude may be the key thematic and or emotional moment for the work, even if it is never addressed again. In terms of narrative, the time away from the main setting can function as a sort of breather episode. The characters are a respite from the strife and a conflict of the plot. If they are a couple, they may have a role in the hate too. The Kingdom of Zeal, the rest of the planet is in the throes of the perpetual winter caused by Lavos' arrival, but the floating continent is just hunky-dory. Likewise, the continually, happy millennial fare of 1080 becomes increasingly incongruous as time goes on, but as side quests and unlockables keep reeling back to it, you're going to be heading there a lot. Mario 3 has a short chapter dedicated to Lucas walking through an undisturbed field of sunflowers. Sunflowers in the game are heavily associated with memories of his mother, Hinawa, and the level ends with Lucas getting a glimpse of her. Ah, yeah, Mother 3. Holy shit. And man, it still has not, and probably never will, get in, or get nationalized in other countries. Clint Squint. Every once in a while, actors think that they have to scrunch up their eyes while being on screen. Reasons for that are manifold, though it most commonly seems to be a way of increasing the badass level of the character they are playing. Squeezing your eyes together works like a focusing mechanism for the depth glare. However, some actors seem to think of the Clint Squint as some sort of cheap way to add depth to a character, which is of course destined to fail. Wendy Oldbag. Wendy Oldbag in the Ace Attorney games has a very pronounced squint in her eyes, where they could be a case of eyes always shut if she squinted any further. The only time her eyes are wide open is if she is angry, shocked, or love-struck while seeing Edward. Chest to death. Oh my god. A character gets into a contest of some sort of with the Grim Reaper, Satan, or some supernatural entity, usually with some dire consequence of if the human loses. Well, that's all we're reading. It's a death trope. All spoilers will be. Banjo-Kazooie. Okay. The main villain of the Banjo-Kazooie series, Gruntilda Winky Binion, sets up the penultimate confrontation with the character as a game show in the first two games. Not only that, but in the second game she gives quiz questions during the actual final battle. Answering them makes her go easy on you because she's just that nice, more likely obsessive compulsive, given her reliance on speaking languages. My hovercraft is full of eels. I will not buy this trope description. It is scratched. Scratched over here. In the sketch that is the trope numero, a character thinks he can speak Hungarian, but fails comedically and says something entirely different than what was intended, often complete nonsense with something rude, consulting a dirty Hungarian to English phrasebook. He then proceeds to walk to a tobacco shop and asks the guy at the counter, I believe buys matches, but he ends up actually saying, my hovercraft is full of eels. Hilarity ensues. Oh, what the fuck is that? Okay. I will not buy this advertising. It is scratch. My anime and manga will explode delight. My comedy is no longer affected. Please fund my comic books. My fan books are full of eels. If I said you had a beautiful film, will you hold it against me? My literature is no longer infected. My live-action TV is full of eels. These newspaper comics is scratch. My podcasts are full of eels. I will not buy this radio. It is scratch. You have beautiful sports. Drop your tabletop games, Sir William. I cannot wait till lunchtime. Do you want to come back? Come back to my theater. Bouncy, bouncy. My video games are full of eels. Bouncy, bouncy. I will not buy these webcomics. They are sketch. Bouncy, bouncy. Your webpage original has beautiful thighs. Bouncy, bouncy. Will not buy this Western animation. It is scratch. Bouncy, bouncy. Bouncy, bouncy. This was stupid. Oh, it's literally just the language. I thought it was gonna be something. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, what is a rare serious example comes from Apollo Justice's Ace Attorney in case a Borginian witness trying to testify. She says that she witnessed the crime to a small moment. The only one who had seen the crime was soundproof and was closed at the time of the murder. But we found out later that she's talking about a vent. She be called through the ventilation system for a magic trick. Nice. Doom. The Exile for Nessus, one of the levels from the master levels of Doom Pack, so it only contains this tidbit. Virgil greets the Minotaur using phrases from an out-of-date passport to the Demonese by Charles relates. Enraged at having been asked to remove his panties, the Minotaur falls upon the ground and throws a connoption fit. Looking for Pokemon. Most of his appearance is a funny foreigner who speaks broken Japanese or English in the music. Pokemon X and Y shows he's from Kalos and speaks French fluently, but when a Kanto woman comes in, Looker mistranslate her. She thinks she's talking about tea when she's really saying when I've been kidnapped. Giant foot stomp. The most decisive ways to deliver someone a crushing defeat, yes we can hear you groaning, is by having an enormous foot descend from the top of the screen and squish them. Yeah, Bayonetta. I was singing the Bayonetta. Banjo Tooie. I did not play Banjo Tooie. There's Naruto. Sucker. Oh, here we go. Here we go. One of the micro games on the WarriorWare stage is recreation of the above mentioned Soul Man, but this time as the playable fighters is having to avoid being stomped on. One of the scribbles on the Pickle Jack 2 stage has a giant pair of boots walking through the stage, stepping on them and burying any player caught beneath them. They sometimes have cleats. Ooh. Starting with the 3DS and Wii U, Bayonetta is a playable character, and just like in original games, she can summon the massive foot of a Madama butterfly to stomp her opponents with her down smash attack. It's highly effective against airborne opponents and opponents clinging to an edge, since it has a meteor effect. And also, since, you know, Bayonetta was absolute bullshit in that game. In Brawl and Ultimate, one of the attacks of the giant robot boss Gallium is to rear back and stomp down with a single foot. He can also jump across the stage multiple times in an attempt to crush the player, and also make himself airborne briefly, striking the player and then slamming down on them. The King K rules revealed trailer for Ultimate has him lying defeated as Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong celebrates. He scared, he stops both Kongs into the ground. Yeah, alright. Well, let's head back on to the trope page. So yeah, this is TV Tropes. Never have seen anyone in the world try this. So it probably has, I just haven't seen them, so I'll build off of it and see what we have. I think this will be an interesting series if I decide to advance it. But for now, I'm going to leave it all, for now, we're going to have it as its own thing. So, either the episode after this will be the next playthrough, or it'll be another kind of, you know, do whatever kind of a episode, yeah. So, yeah, that's what we're coming by on this lovely day of TV, lovely bunker. Peace, beeps.